Hi again, everybody. Welcome to Inside Golf. I'm Harry Donahue. You know, when it comes to golf course history, Merion East in Ardmore takes a backseat to no other American venue. And for almost a quarter of a century, the director of golf here at Merion has been Scott Nye. Recently, Scott announced that he'll be transitioning his position. And going forward, he'll be involved with the activities and the operations for Merion's generous schedule of USGA championship events. I thought it'd be interesting to introduce you to a pro who probably has been holding one of the most prestigious jobs among his professional peers. Stay with us. Coming up, Scott Nye on Inside Golf.
The 27th season of Inside Golf is presented by Destination Montco Golf, the First Tee of Greater Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Association of Golf Course Superintendents, the Golf Association of Philadelphia, GAP, Jersey Man and Philly Man Magazine, and Inside Golf's partner since 1998, the Philadelphia section of the PGA.
Golf is the great equalizer. For many, this journey is an escape from reality, a chance to be part of a team, a career opportunity. PGA Reach impacts lives through golf by lifting people up, giving them hope, and sending them down an alternate path that they never saw coming. With PGA Reach Philadelphia, as in life and in golf, the most important shot you take is the next one.
Most golfers spend weeks and even months planning their dream golf vacation, researching transportation, lodging, and tee times. But not you, Doug.
Not me.
Not you. All you have to worry about is piping your drive on this iconic hole you've wanted to play since you were 9. Cause you booked your golf vacation with All Access, and they took care of everything. Clear your mind, Doug. Ouch.
Heaven.
All Access. Sadly, we have to leave the golf to you.
Welcome back. Inside Golf now continues from historic Merion East in Ardmore with Scott Nye. And Scott, first of all, thanks for joining us today. You're going to go out and play maybe 36 holes.
Yeah, I can squeeze it in.
If you get enough sunlight. Yeah, you can squeeze it in. You've played a lot of holes here, probably not as much as one person would think. Scott has been here now 24 years as the director of golf, and you're on a rather short list, if my math is correct, in terms of the number of pros here at Merion, dating back to when the club opened in 1912.
Well, yes, it's really been fantastic, and the membership here at Merion has treated the golf professionals so well over the years. We've had 5 golf professionals that have served the club since the East Course opened in 1912, and one of those professionals, my close friend Jim Muthing, served for 4 years. So it's a pretty long term that you serve if you're selected as the golf professional here.
Going back to your selection, I'm sure they had a committee put together of members and whoever narrowed it down, and you got the call that you were going to be the next head professional at Merion. Do you remember your reaction when you found out?
I do remember getting a call in July of 2000. They had actually asked Jim Muthing, the golf professional, to name his replacement. And then they checked on a few sources, and Jim called me and said, hey, I want you to know that I'm stepping down as the director of golf. At the time it was called head professional at Merion, and they've asked me to name my replacement. I'd like you to do it. I'm going to give them your name. I'll call you in a week. You let me know if you're interested in coming. So I was actually, stunned and thrilled, very excited. I talked to my wife, and that was an easy decision.
You were working at the time at the Country Club of York, and prior to that, you had been also with Baltimore, right?
Yeah, I was an assistant at Baltimore Country Club under a great mentor of mine, Dennis Sadisher, who later then went on to start Caves Valley. But Dennis helped me get the job at the Country Club of York. I served 11 years for that membership, and then it was from there that this opened up and this opportunity became available.
You're a native of Worcester, Ohio. You went to the College of Worcester, and you come from a pretty athletic family. First of all, your dad coached I think, soccer and golf. He was he was a golf professional. Your
Right.
brother was a pretty good player, and naturally, you had a high bar to match, I guess, right?
Yeah, so my father was involved grassroots in the game of soccer and then heavily involved in golf. And we just fell in love with the game. My older brother Greg was the men's golf coach at Penn State University for 32 years. I've got a younger brother who's a head professional in New Hampshire, and I'm kind of in the middle of them. But it's just been a lot of fun working in the industry over all these years and making all these friends like we have.
So when you've been showing up here for almost a quarter of a century at Merion, and a very big role, but when you drive down off of Ardmore Avenue into the parking lot, are you thinking, okay, what am I going to do today? What it was, meetings or lessons or greeting new members? What kind of responsibility did you feel on your shoulders?
Harry, that's a great question, but the baseline starts with the small building blocks, the little things, the easy things that you need to do and do them well. But then from there, you need to really start thinking about the experience that anybody that comes to Merion is going to have. We always say, when they pull in the driveway, from the moment they do that until they leave, they're ours. And remember, not everybody's playing here day after day. Many times a person's coming here for the only time they'll get a chance to play here. So we want that to be memorable, and we hope that we've delivered that experience. That's what we focus on.
You know, Merion's such an iconic venue, Scott. When you look back on it, what prepared you best in your career? Whether it was at Baltimore, York, earlier here in Merion. You didn't know you were going to last 24 years. It had to be an accumulative list of events or things that you did, people you talked to, that got you to this position.
That's right. I was very fortunate because my dad was so involved in the game. I had a wonderful network when I got out of school, out of college. And I think I did a good job of listening to those people that were some of the best golf professionals in the state of Ohio, for example. You know, I used to go to Firestone Country Club and see Don Padgett. I'd go to Inverness and see Don Pernay. I'd go to Oakmont and see Bob Ford. But those were iconic people. As I looked up to them and wanted to be like them, I always had the opportunity to engage in conversation with them and find out what it took. So as I went along in my career and as I did what I needed to do at the Country Club of York, I was always working for that next opportunity. And I had good people helping me along the way.
Scott, what do you think, 2 or 3 qualities that a golf professional, whether it's here or starting out in a remote location, maybe a municipal course, okay, the whole spectrum, what are 2 or 3 things that if that person's going to grow in the game, they have to do?
You've got to love being around people. You've got to be passionate about the game. And you've got to be a self-starter, willing to take responsibility for your career. And what that means is, you know, you always have to look to try to do the right thing. You have to learn what are the best practices. You have to develop a network of friends that are going to be able to help you as things go up and down in any job. But it's really the simple things. If you do the simple things right, you really help yourself.
24 years, this golf course, Merion, has hosted more USGA championships than any other course in the country. I think Oakmont is number 2 on that list. So you got the West, you got the East of Pennsylvania dominating the venues for USGA events. And in 2030, in honor of Mr. Jones and what he did 100 years prior, they will have another US Open. And you're going to have your hands in that, even though you will no longer be director of golf. And let me read this. Thanks for writing it down for me. You comprehensively will manage operations and activities related to the USGA championships that will be hosted here at Merion. As of right now, there are 6 more on the list going all the way out to 2050, okay? And in 2 more years, that's the, 250th anniversary of the United States of America. Yeah. So it's going to be honored here in Merion's own unique style.
Yeah, America 250. Aronimink will be hosting the PGA Championship that year.
Right.
This region's going to see World Cup Soccer, the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. We'll take the amateur in August of that summer. But it's going to be a great year for Philadelphia. But I'm honored that the cadence of our events is going to be brisk. We have 6 championships, on the docket now. We have 3 United States Open championships. We've got the Women's Open in
Wow.
34 and 46, and our 7th U.S. Amateur will be played here in August of 2026. So this position that I'm taking over kind of developed, and it was kind of interesting how it kind of appealed to me, and it was a great opportunity for me to step back a little bit and slow down from the everyday pace of being the director of golf. So the club was just terrific with me as I discussed that opportunity, and here we are. But I'm really looking forward to slowing down. There are some things that I want to do away from the club. I want to travel a little bit more. I want to play a little bit more golf, and I want to go visit people that all these friends that I have in the game. I want to go see them. I want to go spend time with them, and I think I'm going to be able to do that.
Yeah, well, you'll be able to play, a little more golf. Come over here. Joanna Coe will give you a lesson at the driving range, and everything will be better along those lines.
Yes.
I got to ask you, 24 years, you've had some pretty famous people get out of cars in the parking lot, come into the pro shop, and meet you before they go out and play a round of golf. And I'm not talking about members necessarily, just guests. Who's on that list of the famous who have been here with Scott and I?
Well, there have been a number of different people, and you never know who you're going to meet. Obviously, there are some celebrities that come through and play. Jack Nicholson, I remember when he was here, he was...
Jack Nicholson, not Nickel.
Jack Nicholson.
Okay.
He was
Yeah.
he was a fun
Crazy?
guy to be around.
How about Bill Murray? Has he ever been here?
He has,
yeah.
but...
Do you tell him not to walk through the bunkers? Or?
But we're sitting very close. Arnold Palmer came here one of the last times he visited Merion. And Paul Oglesby was the teaching professional here at the time. And Mr. Palmer walked in and he said, "Guys, I need some help. I've got to play these holes with these outing guests today, and I'm not hitting the ball well at all. Can we go up to the range? Can you guys watch me hit some shots?" So I remember literally right over here helping Mr. Palmer with his ball position and
Really?
just trying to settle him down to play.
How'd he do?
He was great. He was such an entertainer and
Sure.
so good with people when he walked along. But the golf course was playing extremely hard that day, and he was really concerned about just being able to hit quality shots in front of the guests. And it was just an experience that I'll never forget. Another one was playing with Annika here. She was fantastic to play golf with, and lots of fun. And ironically, it was right before she decided to retire.
Okay.
And I remember her on the 11th tee telling me that she wanted to have children and that she was going to slow down the golf.
How about that? Well, there you go. That's just another day in the life of whoever the director of golf is at Merion. For 24 years, it's been Scott and I. We'll be back to wrap it up with Scott as he brings down the curtain and then raises another curtain here at Merion. Inside Golf continues in a moment. Plus, standing by is our teed off panel.
So, what do you want to do today?
Today, I want to run. I want to skate.
Thank you.
I want to see a show. I want to play. I want to eat. Like a lot. I want to sleep in a hotel. Can we do all that?
We can do all that and more.
Our Teed Off panel is brought to you by Lulu Country Club.
Welcome back. Inside Golf continues. We are, of course, at Lulu Country Club, and we're talking golf with our teed off panel. Joining us, and he's been here before, back when I guess he was named Instructor of the Year in the Philadelphia section of PGA. I think it was 2 years ago. Talking about Dave Zamaro, who is Director of Instruction at Overbrook.
Thanks for having me, Harry.
Good to see you.
Appreciate it.
All right. Jim Sullivan, no stranger to teed off, playing on the home field here, or home course at Lulu,
Thanks
where
for
he
having me, Harry.
spends a lot of time at the simulator, the gym, and whenever we're here doing teed off, somehow Sully shows up.
Always a treat.
I don't even have to send out an invite. He somehow knows when we're going to be here, right? Ken Phillips, now in his second year as the president of the Golf Association of Philadelphia and a proud member of Lancaster Country Club. They ask you, what's Lancaster going to do for an encore this year after that unbelievable Women's Open you had last year?
Probably relax.
Relax.
But next year, in 26, we have the Philly Open. We have the Gap Open.
Yeah.
We have the Comfort Cup. So yeah, we have a lot of things.
Okay, I was
that we're
wondering,
doing.
have you been talking to the USGA too down the road? I know you can't. You can whisper in my ear. I won't tell anybody.
There's a lot of discussions going on about a lot of different things. Yes.
Okay.
Which is good.
That's
It's all
always-
good.
That's always good.
It's all good.
Speaking of all good, we're going to try to have some fun with a word association or words association with our panel here. And by that is I'm going to say a word or a phrase, and the first thing that comes to your mind, blurt it out and explain why. So Dave, I'm going to start with you. Golf in the Philadelphia area.
I'm going to have to say like tough and gritty and John F. Byrne. That's my home course. It's
John F. Byrne.
where I grew up playing. And that tough and that grittiness is what I expect out of my students as an instructor.
Have you been there lately since they fixed up the
It's
the
not
clubhouse?
the same Byrne that I know.
It certainly is.
It
and
used to be
thanks
called
to
The Rock, and it's
thanks
not
to
The
our
Rock
buddy
anymore.
Mike Brown and Bill Hyman the fifth, what they have
First
done
tees.
with the first tee.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Spectacular.
Yep.
How about that? Okay. How about you, Sully? Golf in Philly.
Yeah, so I'm going to defer to what I know is an answer coming because that was mine, but I'm going to expand
say it,
on
you
it.
say it.
I'm going to expand on it to say championship golf. So that's golf courses, but also players at the amateur level and the professional
With
level.
GAP, the Golf Association.
Golf Association's players have represented nationwide at the professional and amateur level for 100 years. So, and the golf courses stand up to any district in the country as well. So I'll go with championship golf.
And if I'm not mistaken, the largest regional association of golf clubs, right?
We're one of the top regionals. Okay. You have some big ones in California. So my answer is Gap.
We have two. GAP's the winner.
I mean, Golf Association of Philadelphia, which is really much greater than Philadelphia.
Sure.
It's half of Pennsylvania. It's all of Delaware. It's southern Jersey.
Keeps expanding.
200 plus events a year. 125,000 members.
A great magazine.
So yeah. So, but as Sully just said, when you take a look at our events, I think they're run professionally. The players appreciate the venues that we get, and they do represent us across the nation. You know, and USGA events, and you know, and so on. So
Right.
it really is good golf.
Yeah, that was sort of a layup for.
It was.
you
It
guys.
was a layup.
That's right. You both made it.
He doesn't pass much, but he did pass much.
All right. Favorite golf course to play? Now, it doesn't have to be in the Gap region, just anywhere, Dave. Your favorite golf course?
I love shore golf, so I'm going to have to say Atlantic City Country Club.
Atlantic City.
Great
Old
spot.
school?
Old school, good feel. Just love being out there on the bay. Just reminds me of summer. It's just a good spot.
I always say Atlantic City proper never looks so good as when you're standing on one of those Marshall land holes. in Atlantic
Exactly.
City.
See it in the background.
Looks a lot
Yeah,
different
it's-
than it does when you're walking down Atlantic
right.
Avenue. Sully?
I've had some good fortune in my life to play some great places. If you said you get to play one course for the rest of your life, I'd be torn between Huntington Valley, where I was born and raised kind of in golf, and Shinnecock, which I have played a number of times and is just, to me, what perfect golf is.
Two William Flynn courses.
Two William Flynn courses.
How about
yeah.
that? I thought you were going to maybe say Cyprus.
Haven't been there. I'm sure it's tremendous, but it'd be hard for me to imagine it beats the
Call your
Shinnecock
buddy
golf experience.
Brownie. Where's Brownie? How about you, favorite?
I'll go with the third Flynn course in Lancaster Country Club.
Oh, there you go.
I grew up caddying there. I grew up there not as a member, and then became a member. And if I had to play one course the rest of my life every day, because there's so many memories there, and it's a great course. So Flynn's well represented here.
Yeah, Atlantic City, right,
Atlantic
right
City,
across
there
the
you go.
board.
Right.
Yeah,
Right across.
yeah.
There you go. Okay, there's the trifecta. All right, how about least favorite golf rule? The least favorite golf rule, you know, that golf rule book. All right, Dave, lead us off.
So although the rules kind of help us in most cases, I can't stand any rule that takes you backwards. So out of bounds or lost ball, that awful walk going back to the tee or back to the fairway. Number one, it slows down play. I think you should just be able to drop it and continue playing.
Okay. All right, I got it. I should probably interject my least favorite golf rule, but I'll let Sully, or do you want to hold up? Because listen, true disclosure here, he and I will differ, but go ahead.
How much time do we have?
Not enough.
So It's not yet a rule. If some folks get their way, it could be. But the idea that you should be able to take your ball out of a divot in the fairway is just unbelievable to me. You hit the ball wherever you can, play it as it lies, and do the best you can. You're not guaranteed anything just because you hit it. How about if you hit a crummy shot into the fairway? You know, there's no reward for anything in particular.
Well,
so
different
it's not a
it's
rule.
Not apples and oranges. It's apples and oranges.
It's not a rule yet.
When you say it's not a rule, why then can't I just move it out of the divot?
Because you play the ball as it lies, no matter where
well,
it
is.
That's
a rule, right?
Okay,
well,
then, but I don't disagree.
Well, I know.
But I don't disagree with the rule of play it as it lies. Yes, for the worst rule.
You're against the fact that you can, or you can move it out, but it would cost you a stroke. You say an unplayable lie. You can take an unplayable lie.
100%, and I'd be happy for you to every time
That's
we're
the
playing
rule.
for $20.
And that is the rule.
Every single time.
My thing is, it shouldn't be a question of, well, is this unplayable or not? You should be able to say, you know, it's like the embedded rule, right?
It's not like the embedded rule.
Well, that's you and I differ. I'm done talking about
Ken's got to get in and
I want to
answer
hear
here.
from our viewers on that thing, right?
We're going to run a poll.
Huh? Boy, that was good. We could probably do a whole show on that. On that. How about it? What is your least? Don't go divots.
No. I would say signing a scorecard in competition. Nowadays, everything's electronic.
Yeah.
I mean, how can someone be disqualified on the tour?
Ask Sully if that's okay.
When you have a score,
I've got some.
You know, when you have everyone knows what the scores are, and you know, it's so.
Roberto DiVincenzo.
Right? Yeah, that's one.
How about him? And he didn't even, you know, in those competitions sometimes, he didn't keep his own scorecard.
Yeah.
He was the guy that lost the Masters because Bob Golby or somebody put down a 3 when he
wrong
had
score.
a 4 or something, and he signed the card. He thought he won the Masters. Then they told him you had the wrong score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Today's day and age.
Or should there be like a shelf life? Like you got 2 hours instead of 2 minutes.
Once you leave the scoring area is when, you know, is when the penalty comes in.
De facto. Yeah. So. Boy, have you ever had that problem?
Have I signed the wrong scorecard? No.
Okay.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Can't remember.
I did and more than once in 2 out of 3 college tournaments. So there was a week between, and I'm telling you, John McDonald was ready to rip my head off. Rightly so, but it was not a fun experience. That's the last time it's happened.
Wow, how about that? All right, final one. What's the most significant golf course in history? Now we go worldwide here, folks.
I think I'll just go with Augusta. Right at the beginning of the season, it's perfect golf course, or artificially perfect at times. But the allure of Augusta, I think, is just it's it. Number one.
Yeah, certainly, it kind of creates the whole American golf ethos, doesn't it?
Right.
I would go with St. Andrews, the old course, kind of the original. I think there were maybe courses before it, but it's sort of viewed as the home of golf. And I feel like that has to be my answer, St. Andrews Old Course.
After those two, I have nowhere to go.
Right? Nowhere to go?
I think Augusta would probably be mine, though, because Augusta really changed, I think, the architecture of a lot of golf courses. When Augusta was first seen on TV, it was tree-lined. And so all of a sudden, all the courses in the 50s and 60s that were being built, tree-lined.
Right.
Well, now it's the open concept, right? Getting back to openness. So I'd probably say Augusta, but St. Andrews, home of golf.
All right. 2 Augusta, 1 St. Andrews. Play them if you got them. Thank you, panel. We'll be back. More of Inside Golf coming up.
The Golf Association of Philadelphia. Founded in 1897, GAP is the nation's oldest regional or state golf association. We serve amateur golf in Eastern PA, Southern New Jersey, and all of Delaware. GAP welcomes all golfers, junior or senior, male or female, public or private. Join the Golf Association of Philadelphia today. Our mission is always to preserve, protect, and promote the great game of golf. Before you tee it up, look us up. Visit gapgolf.org to find out more.
Hi, Tony Salucci with the Beacon Group of Companies. If your company has between 50 and 500 employees enrolled in your health insurance plan, there's a really good chance we can reduce your costs significantly and increase the benefits employees receive. How do we do it? We put you together with several thousand employers of a similar size across the country, so your company can get amazing buying power. Schedule a conversation with one of our employee benefits specialists today at mybeacongroup.com.
All right, back to wrap it up here at Merion with Scott Nye, who will be, as of December 1st, no longer the director of golf, but he has still a lot to do here at Merion going forward. Let me ask you this. Everybody, I think, when they get in the latter stages of a career, thinks, gee, I could have done this better, I could have done that better. Do you have a list of maybe things you could have done better in the last 24 years, or do you think you've graded yourself out pretty high?
One of the greatest challenges that I found here as I went along was this is a relationships business. And as you build these relationships and you meet the people that play here and that are invited to come here, there's never enough time to engage in the conversations that you'd like to engage. The biggest challenge in the last couple of years, there was so much of that I just wish I had more time to speak to each of them as they came to the property.
Well, you know, you've been such a great ambassador, not just for Merion, but for Philadelphia golf, for golf in general. And that's what it's all about, right? And you will continue in your new role at Merion, helping manage operations activities, getting ready for a series of USGA championships. Job well done.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Harry. I appreciate
and I'm
that.
glad
Thank you.
Everybody around Merion, they don't have enough days in the year to honor Scott Nye. But wow, what a job, what a gentleman. Thank you.
And thank you for all you've done for golf in our community. You've done so much. You've really taken great interest in really what makes, the people that make this game go in the Philadelphia community. And I can't thank you enough for the many years that you've done that for our game.
Thank you. It's easy when you have people like Scott Nye and Merion East to call it, hey, I got a job to do. I'm covering something at Merion. It doesn't get any better than that. That's it for this week's edition of Inside Golf. Thanks and congrats again to Scott Nye. He's a treasure. People at Merion know it, and now maybe you know it too. I'm Harry Donahue. We'll see you next week on Inside Golf.
The 27th season of Inside Golf is presented by Destination Montco Golf, the First Tee of Greater Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Association of Golf Course Superintendents, the Golf Association of Philadelphia, GAP, Jersey Man and Philly Man Magazine, and Inside Golf's partner since 1998, the Philadelphia section of the PGA.